Welcome to another episode of the Introvert Dating Success Show. I'm your host, Harry Wilmington. I want to talk today about the whole idea of friends with benefits and how to go from having a friend with benefits to possibly being in a relationship. And I've seen this before. I actually have friends of mine that back in the day, like in the high school days, were just friends with benefits, and she was just somebody that she saw him as a friend, and she thought that he was a great guy, but she didn't really see if it was going to go anything further than that. Fast forward to they've now been married for almost like 13 years and have a kid. So I say this because I think that friends with benefits can turn into relationships, but a lot of times guys ruin it. And we ruin it by not being patient and by trying to rush things and impose our will upon the girl that we're hooking up with. So I want to go into this guy's message today. It's a guy on Reddit. He's going to a complicated friends with benefits situation and wants to kind of know what's going on. He says, I'm a 27-year-old and she is 30. We started liking each other about 4 or 5 years back. Both of us weren't looking for anything serious, but we are best friends. There is lots of sexual tension, and we have even hooked up a few times. Here is where I'm confused. She definitely has feelings for me, just like I do her. But she feels like she isn't sure if it's just an attachment on her end, and told me that since we are both not looking for anything serious, that I should date around with others instead of being stuck on her and potentially missing opportunities. So I will say this is where a lot of guys get themselves trapped, is that early on, let's say a woman says to you, oh, I want to hook up, but I'm not looking for anything. Well, as the guy, we think, okay, in order for this thing to logically happen, I must also be on the side of saying that I'm not looking for anything either. And so we make the mistake of agreeing, oh, I'm not looking for anything also. Yeah, let's just hook up to whatever, this and that. But the problem is, on the off chance that she gets feelings later and wants to do something, she's looking at you like, but you also said you weren't looking for anything serious. Therefore, I don't want to pursue that because I don't want to get hurt. And he's already told me emphatically that he doesn't want this. So what's the deal? Okay. And here's the thing, guy. You don't have to full out agree with a woman and say, well, I'm not looking for anything either. What you can say is, hey, look, realistically, like if you're not looking for anything with me, that's fine. I'm kind of in a place right now where it's like I can take it or leave it. So if we're doing whatever and nothing develops, then that's totally fine and understanding. If something does happen to develop, then I'm fine with having that conversation. But for right now, it is what it is. That in no way says to a woman that you're not open to it. But it does say that, hey, if something starts to arise, you can come to me, we can discuss it. I'm not going to push you away. And also, if I'm starting to feel things, I hope that I can also come to you and discuss it. Whether or not we end up in a relationship is a different story, but at least I'm keeping the doors open. Because ultimately, regardless of what women say, they are looking for us to lead the relationship and to set parameters for it. And so whatever parameters we set or agree to, they're going to go with. If you set the parameter of we're both not looking for anything, well, now it's going to be harder for you to come back later and say, actually, I'm kind of looking for something now. Okay. So don't ever agree to that particular parameter. Continuing on, he says, here is where I'm kind of bothered. She said that seeing me flirting or kissing or just being with someone else will help give her clarity. She said that if she gets jealous, she knows that it's definitely her feelings, and that will help her confirm. And if not, then she knows that it's just attachment. And he says, I have never heard anyone say, quote, go date someone else so I know if I actually like you or not. You should just know based off how that person makes you feel, right? Okay, so a few things here. So I do want to say that at this point in time, the fact that she's saying to this guy, I think you should check out other women, and I want to, because if I'm saying I don't want to potentially be with you, I don't want to hold you up. So if you're looking for somebody to be in an actual relationship with, then I want you to go ahead and try to explore those other things, okay? If a woman is saying that to you, more often than not, that means that she's probably not feeling you on a relationship level. And at that point, you got to decide for yourself if I'm cool with just continuing to hook up with this person, or if I want to try to look for other people, and you either end it or you just continue on with the arrangement you have, okay? Now, that said, the interesting part was where she verbalized this fact of saying she wants to see him with somebody else because she needs to be able to feel what that feeling is like for her. If she sees him with somebody else and she feels jealous, then she'll know that it must mean that she likes him. But if she doesn't feel anything, then it means that she had no feelings. And as a guy, that probably sounds really stupid because like he said, he's thinking, well, if I'm already hooking up with this person, I should just know already if I like them or not, right? And like I said earlier, if she's having this conversation with him, chances are it's probably not going to work out. But only because I've had this experience do I recognize something. And it's that this woman is verbalizing something that a lot of women will never, ever verbalize to you. And it's because if they say it out loud, it typically sounds stupid to them also. But it is the truth that women want to know that the guy they're with can get other women. And they do, in fact, at times need to be able to feel, again, it's all about feelings for them. So they're going to need to feel that if they see you with somebody else, A, they like the fact that you're able to get other people, but also they're going to want to know if they feel that they'd rather have you be the one treating them the way you're treating this other girl than giving it to somebody else. And so I had a story about this. There was a woman I dated like years ago, and we ended up dating for like 5 years. But like the first year we dated, it was okay, but it was kind of turmoilish, so I broke it off, and then I started dating somebody else. And that other person we dated for like 10 months. And then towards the end of it, this other woman that I had previously dated came back into the picture. And she wanted to try to reconnect and build a friendship. So I said, fine. So at this point, I had broken up with the new girl I was dating, and we started hanging out. And we were hanging out and having a good time, and all things were just like, we would go on walks and just, go to restaurants and just hang out, and we weren't doing any kind of physical stuff. And then one night, she came to my apartment, we hung out for a little bit, and we did some level of physical stuff. Like, we didn't go all the way, but I definitely like dove in, if you know what I mean, and did some things, but she wouldn't reciprocate. And I was like, that's frustrating, but whatever. So at some point, I think we had a conversation, and she was saying like, well, she came over the next time, and we were cuddling up, and I wanted to do more stuff. And she was like, well, I think we should really just keep it at like a friendship level because, we tried dating before and I don't really know how I feel yet and all this other thing. So I just think we should just kind of like whatever. So at this point in my dating journey, I was no longer a simp, meaning I knew that trying to beg her for sex and trying to like convince her why we should be in a relationship again, none of that was going to work. But I did have this theory that if I just stopped hanging out with her as much, if I pulled back a little bit, then maybe she would eventually come around. And so there was one day where she wanted to hang out with me, and she called me up and said, hey, Harry, I want to if we could like hang out today. I can come over and hang over, whatever it's that. There had been another woman I had met like in between me and this girl breaking up and the girl that I had started dating the previous year. There was another woman I had met at a marathon, and I thought she was pretty cute, and I was like, oh, this is a kind of whatever. And so at this point in time, I had asked this woman out on a date because I was like, you know what? The girl I just broke up with, we're not dating anymore. And this girl that I'm trying to get with again, she's still figuring herself out, and I don't want to mess that up. So, but there's this other girl that we had a good rapport at the marathon. So I figured we could just go out to a comedy show. So I had set a date. So it just happened to be on the day that this girl calls me and wants to hang out. So all I said to her was, I can't hang out tonight. I've already got plans. Hit me up tomorrow and I should be available to do something. And that was all I said. And she said, oh, okay, cool. And then hung up. So I went on my date and I had a good time on the date. It was actually great. It turned out the woman, I don't want to have kids. And this woman expressed that she had wanted to have twins, and I had just gotten a vasectomy. So at that point I knew, crap, this isn't going to work out, but whatever. It gave me an excuse to get out for a night. I had a good time. And more importantly, it gave me the opportunity to practice what would happen if this woman that I want to get with, that we were essentially at this point friends with benefits because we were kind of doing stuff but not going all the way. What would happen if I just, kind of just eased back a little bit? So that's what I did. Fast forward to 2 weeks later when we're ripping each other's clothes off and we're in a hotel room and she's wanting to get back in a relationship. And at some point I said, well, what changed your mind about all this? Because a couple weeks ago we weren't doing anything and now you're like, whatever. And what she said to me was like the most eye-opening thing ever at that point in time. She said, well, I couldn't figure out my feelings for you. And when I called you up that day to hang out and you said you had plans, I got really angry. And after I got angry, I started to think, but wait a minute, if we're not actually dating, then why am I feeling this way? Why am I so upset? And it made me realize that the reason I was upset was because I still had feelings for you and I didn't want anybody else to have you, and I still cared for you and wanted to be with you. And I was like, well, in my head, I was like, wow, that actually worked. But I was like, wow, that's like really a thing. That's really a thing that women, again, want to know that you can get other women. So that way you're not looking at like that needy guy that's desperate or is trying to date them because you can't find anybody else. But also that jealousy, anxiety, not knowing where your feelings are at, these things can actually be a stronger pull to women than you directly telling them how much you like them and want to be with them. So again, this woman is one of the few that I've seen actually verbalize that to a guy. He's getting all butthurt because he's like, but what does that mean? But like literally she's telling you the key is that, hey, you know what? While I'm still trying to figure out my feelings, the last thing I need you to do is to say your feelings are already solidified. I need it to look like you're still going out there trying to figure out things also, because that's going to allow me to feel things. And by being able to feel certain feelings for you, it's going to make my decision about being with you long-term a lot quicker. Okay. So in terms of your friends with benefits situation, let's say right now you're an introverted guy that has a friends with benefits situation and you want to make it to a relationship. So one, the fact that you guys are already hooking up, that means that you guys are cool being in each other's physical space. That's absolutely great. But if she's not currently choosing you in a relationship, what that may mean is simply that you are spending too much time with this person. And when you spend a lot of time with the woman on a day-to-day basis, or you're texting her nonstop, it's making her feel like you're forcing the decision for her to constantly be around you. And also, it's not giving her brain and her emotional makeup time to feel what it's like to not have you around. She needs to be able to feel the absence of you to recognize how much she enjoys the feeling more so when you are around. When you give a woman time and you give her space to be with her thoughts and you apply patience, and if she says she can't hang out with you or see you one day, you don't fly off the handle and instead go, okay, that's totally cool, and go about your business. Ultimately, you being detached to the outcome of whether or not she's going to want to date you or not, that's going to be the thing that's going to allow her the space. So while you're hooking up with her, she starts saying stuff like, hey, just, I know we're hooking up, but, I don't want you to think this is going to be a relationship. Your response should be, okay, that's cool. And then keep whatever. If she starts saying, well, I'm starting to feel these feelings, but I'm not sure if that means I want to be with you yet or whatever. And so, I don't want you to think that because I'm starting to feel these things that we're in a relationship yet. Your response should be, hey, you know what? I enjoyed spending time with you. If this becomes something, that's absolutely great. But if we just continue it as is, that's also fine. Ultimately, babe, I want you to be comfortable in whatever the situation is. Now, at that same time, recognize that situation may never turn into a relationship and start talking to other women. Because talking to other women, if you're legitimately trying to get into a relationship, then you shouldn't really be focusing so hard on a woman that right now is actively saying, this is not going to be a relationship. For the moment in time that she's saying that, respect that and take it to heart and go about your business. And then when she comes to you and says, hey, I want to hook up with you tonight, just try it a couple of times. You say, oh, you know what, babe, I want to hook up with you, but I already have other plans. You ain't got to specify, I got plans with a woman, I got a date. Just say you have other plans. Your plan could be to be the introvert that stays home tonight. Your plan could be you want to go hang with the fellas tonight, but make it very don't be detailed in what that means. Just say, hey, I got plans, but let's connect later this week. Try that a couple of times. See if her little hamster wheel doesn't start running and starts thinking are those plans with another woman? Why is he hanging out with some other girl? I thought I was pleasing him enough, but then why do I feel this way? And see if she doesn't come to you with a different conversation about what your friends with benefits arrangement means and if it could be taken to the next level. Ultimately, guys, women need to be the ones that are coming to you with the request for a relationship. All you need to do is show up, show her a good time. If you rely on those two things over time, a woman that is valuing the hookups is actually having a really great time with that, and then is also feeling you starting to possibly slip away. It's going to allow her to decide if she wants that, and then decide to make the choice to choose you versus it being forced upon her in the first place. Now, I know dating can be a very anxious thing, and having a friends with benefits can also be a very, very anxious thing. It'd be very, very annoying, to be honest with you, not being able to get with a woman when you want to or take it to the next level. If you need help trying to figure out what it is that's preventing you from being able to feel more confident and not be so anxious in these kind of situations, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com and sign up for a one-on-one consultation with yours truly. We can get it cracking, figure out your dating life, and how I can be of help and service to you going forward. Also, if you have any questions you want answered in one of these shows, you can write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Also write to me if you're looking to be a sponsor of this show as well. And of course, guys, if you want to support the show, 2 great ways to do it. 1, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/HarryWilmington. And 2, leave a Cash App for me, $Harry Wilmington. Oh, and be sure to leave a review. If you're on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, whatever, leave a 5-star review for this show because it definitely helps with the algorithm and allows this show to be found by a lot more men so we can all learn how to date as our introverted selves while still getting our precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.